To me, street art has always been about, because people might take the vandalism route, but it's never been about that for most everyone I know. It's been more about the idea of sharing, you know. Personal expression in public spaces is something that is extremely rare in Western society nowadays, and becoming ever more so. Why don't you just do it on the internet, you know, is the common saying nowadays. But locality has never been more important, and doing things for real, not digitally, has always been, never been more important now, I think.
How was your trip to Europe?
Oh, it was great. Maybe the most terrifying and liberating thing about being an artist is that you are your own boss, of course. And then, of course, everyone is your boss, but that goes without saying. But that being the case, I could choose to either go for 2 weeks and paint it, or I could choose to go for 2 months, and I chose the latter, just because I don't have anything holding me necessarily in one place. I don't have like vacation days I have to request off or anything, right? And so I went for 2 months, did a circle around Western Europe. It actually turned out to be quite an art pilgrimage, which was pretty cool. I was traveling alone, so I had the opportunity to basically go to every large, major art museum that I wanted to in the Western European cities I went to, and I kind of did this capital city tour, so saw some great things, and spent a lot of time in museums, a lot of time, which I would never force upon a friend or anything traveling with me, you know. I could do it myself, so that was good. He saw a video of an installation I did. I put it on YouTube and he saw it, and he's like, no joke, I will fly you out to do this, you know, let's talk. But I also saw a lot of street art, which was just amazing, and participated some in that as well. So it was a trip of both pilgrimage and practice, I guess. Well, this place is basement version 2.0 of my studio, and as you can see here, I've got these exhaust fans, and I'll have some nice flow-through ventilation. Whenever I do spray painting, I also wear a respirator, of course, and seal off this room, so I get pretty good protection. And around you, you'll see the stencils, a bunch of them that I have. Behind you is the assortment of spray paint. Various things posted up on the walls. Mad ramblings, inspirational quotes. And yeah, this is where I spend most of my waking time. They see it fit to paint over what they see as graffiti, even if it's not on their property, and they're part of the system. They're part of the life cycle. I mean, so I'm not really dissing them, but it is very frustrating to know that you can put up a lot of beautiful things and they'll be destroyed. Because I like to create something that's so innocuously beautiful that, like, somebody might be at pains to destroy it, in the sense of, how can you, who doesn't like koi fish, man? You know, for example, like, here are a couple I need to cut out still, but as you can see, right, I'll be pasting these up at some point, that to those forms, you know, multi-layer patterns, and also modular designs. These are all patterns here. I had actually fallen in love with cartooning in college. I was a daily cartoonist at the one of the student newspapers, and I really enjoyed illustration and writing and creative work in that regard. And I tried after I graduated for about 2 years to become a syndicated national cartoonist. And I had a wall full of rejection letters, and really wasn't getting anywhere. I really was frustrated. The gatekeepers weren't listening, and also, what was I trying to do? Become a cartoonist in a newspaper in the 21st century, right? It was the stupidest idea ever, really.
Did you have any success?
I did. I was in The Stranger for like half a year, and other alternative weeklies across the country. So there were different markets, and I learned a lot. Well, I guess the important thing about this, Brendan, is that I learned that while you might not succeed in one area, you can translate your experience to another place. So from this whole trying to become a cartoonist thing, I learned just so many important things about, well, facing rejection, maybe the biggest thing, but also just how to deal with gatekeepers in general, in the corporate and in the art world, and other skills such as just computer illustrative skills, things that I use every day now. I used in this, and I wouldn't have gotten it any other way really. So I had to go through it, you know. And so I kind of think it was 2007, because actually I've only been an artist making art as opposed to being a cartoonist or whatever for 5 years now. It was 2007 when I kind of said, well, this isn't working, because I also learned about the different like tiers of marketing you can do. You can do like to the major newspapers, you can do the alternative weeklies, such as Seattle Weekly, Stranger. You can do to webcomics and other things as well. All that experience really pushed me in a certain direction where I knew that I wanted to do art, but I didn't want to be beholden to certain
restrictions.
Yeah, just because there are a lot certainly in those fields. Even in doing something on the internet, your audience is so fickle and so one-dimensional in ways that it's not rewarding. But anyways, so I started experimenting with stencils, which is something I messed around with a little bit in college. But in 2007, I said, all right, well, let's try making something. And I had making something complex, you know. And I had the Photoshop and digital experience to be able to start working on that. And the first piece I did was the geisha with boombox print, and that was really successful. A lot of people liked it, and got my foot in the door in several places. And it's really like peaks and valleys, you know. It's never really I don't know. It's for every low there's a high, and vice versa. It's not really something you get used to, I suppose. But management of expectations is extremely key. Working on right now, trying to get a show in New York. I'm working with people right now, and they're very positive about it all. But like, I'm not assuming a damn thing until opening night probably. But you really have to take things with a grain of salt and have a thick skin about dealings in this business, because it's not easy.
One last question.
Yeah.
Do you have any words of advice for aspiring artists or upcoming artists?
Yeah. I suppose I would say that to be truly fearless in doing art means that knowing everything you do, you must be prepared to abandon. In the sense that if it's not working, well, you have to define what an artist is to yourself, first of all, right? But if you want to be a successful artist in a commercial sense, if you want to sell art to people for whatever sum of money, doesn't matter, but sell, get somebody who likes it enough that they would pay you money for it, right? In any regard, you have to tell yourself that you can move on from anything that isn't working. To be able to have one idea that you know is the best idea ever, and everyone else who doesn't think so, will screw them. That might work. But probably a better course of action might be to have 10 ideas, constantly be working on 3 or 4, assess all of them in turn, and see which one really gets some attention and what people love and what you love the most. And you can go for that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, all right.
Thanks again.
Cool. All right.